The question that never fades. What does it mean to be enlightened? For thousands of years across temples, deserts, and cities, humans have chased this mysterious state, a condition said to end suffering, dissolve the ego, and reveal the ultimate truth of existence. But what did the Buddha actually mean by enlightenment? Was it a mystical experience beyond words, or a profound psychological transformation that anyone could reach? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, is enlightenment achievable today in a world of distractions, anxiety, and endless noise? This is the story of one man's awakening and humanity's timeless search for liberation. 1. The world before the Buddha. 2,600 years ago, in the ancient kingdom of Kapilavastu, near today's Nepal, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama lived a life of luxury. Sheltered from suffering, he was raised to become a king. But destiny had other plans. According to legend, when Siddhartha ventured beyond his palace walls, he encountered what his father tried to hide: an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and a wandering monk. That moment shattered his illusion. He realized all beings, no matter how wealthy or strong, are bound by the chains of suffering, aging, and death. This realization set him on a lifelong quest, not for power or conquest, but for truth. He renounced his wealth, left his palace, and began a journey that would change the course of human thought. 2. The search for liberation. For years, Siddhartha sought teachers, practiced meditation, and mastered extreme asceticism, starving himself, holding his breath, enduring pain. But still, enlightenment eluded him. He found no peace in self-indulgence, nor in self-torture. Both extremes, he saw, led nowhere. So he sat beneath a Bodhi tree, vowing not to rise until he understood the nature of suffering and the way to end it. For 49 days, he faced his own mind, doubts, desires, fears. And then, one silent morning, as the last star faded, he saw it clearly. All things arise and pass away. Nothing is permanent. Suffering ends when craving ends. The cycle of birth and death continues only because the mind clings to illusion. At that moment, Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one. 3. What enlightenment truly means. But what is enlightenment? To understand this, we must strip away centuries of myth and look at what the Buddha actually taught. He called enlightenment nirvana. It means extinguishing, like a flame going out. The flame of what? Of greed, hatred, and delusion, the fires that keep the mind restless and trapped in the cycle of suffering. In simple terms, enlightenment is the end of ignorance, the direct realization that there is no separate, permanent self. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from reality. We only believe we are. When this illusion collapses, the mind becomes still. Desire loses its grip. The world is seen as it truly is, transient, interdependent, luminous. This was not a belief system. It was an experience, a state of consciousness that transcended language. 4. The Four Noble Truths. After his awakening, the Buddha did not speak of gods, heaven, or miracles. He offered a diagnosis, like a doctor describing the human condition. He called it the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, dukkha. Life, as we live it, is unsatisfactory. We suffer when we lose what we love, or when we cannot get what we want. Even pleasure fades, leaving us empty again. The truth of the cause. Suffering arises from craving and ignorance. We want things to be permanent when everything changes. We cling to me, mine, I. The truth of the end. Suffering ends when craving ends. When we let go of attachment, we are free. The truth of the path. The way to liberation is the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These truths were not dogmas. They were a manual for the mind, a guide to awaken from illusion. 5. Enlightenment as psychological revolution. Many modern scholars describe Buddhism not as a religion, but as a science of the mind. The Buddha didn't demand belief. He invited investigation. He said, "Do not believe because I have said it. Test it for yourself." This makes enlightenment deeply psychological, not metaphysical. Think about it. When you let go of resentment, even for a moment, your mind becomes lighter. When you stop identifying with every passing thought, you experience peace. That's the seed of enlightenment. It's not about becoming supernatural. It's about seeing reality without distortion, free from ego, fear, and desire. Today, neuroscientists have studied long-term meditators and found profound changes in brain activity. Less reactivity, greater compassion, higher awareness. Maybe enlightenment is not a mythical event, but a spectrum, a process of awakening that unfolds over time. 6. Enlightenment and the illusion of self. Central to the Buddha's insight was anatta, the doctrine of no self. He saw that what we call I is just a collection of changing processes, sensations, emotions, memories, thoughts. There's no fixed, eternal identity behind them. It's like mistaking a river for something solid, when in fact it's movement, always flowing. The ego is a story, a convenient illusion that allows us to function. But the more tightly we cling to it, the more we suffer. Enlightenment, then, is the end of this clinging. It's realizing that consciousness doesn't belong to anyone. It simply is. As the Buddha said, "In seeing, there is only the seen. In hearing, only the heard." There is experience, but no experiencer. 7. Is enlightenment achievable? This question has divided seekers for centuries. Can a modern person, surrounded by smartphones, deadlines, and chaos, truly achieve enlightenment? The Buddha believed anyone could, regardless of background, if they walked the path sincerely. But modern teachers offer two perspectives. Some say enlightenment is rare, requiring lifetimes of purification and meditation. Others say it's immediate, always present, simply obscured by thought. Both might be true. Just as clouds don't destroy the sky, ignorance doesn't destroy awareness. It only hides it. When the mind stops grasping, even briefly, enlightenment is revealed, not as something new, but as what has always been there. 8. The gradual and the sudden. Throughout Buddhist history, debates raged over whether awakening happens suddenly or gradually. The Theravada tradition, common in Southeast Asia, sees it as gradual, a disciplined journey through moral conduct, meditation, and wisdom. The Zen and Chan traditions emphasize sudden awakening, an instant insight that shatters, illusion, like lightning striking the dark. But both agree, enlightenment cannot be forced. It happens when the mind stops trying to control reality and simply sees. As one Zen saying goes, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The difference lies not in what you do, but in how you see. 9. Enlightenment in the modern world. Can we still talk about enlightenment in an age of technology, consumerism, and constant distraction? Maybe now more than ever. Modern life amplifies craving for success, validation, pleasure. But the essence of Buddhism remains the same. Freedom from craving is freedom from suffering. Meditation apps, mindfulness retreats, and even neuroscience are rediscovering what the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. That inner peace doesn't depend on external perfection. The challenge is not escaping the world, but awakening within it. The Buddha never asked his followers to withdraw from life, but to live awake within it, to act with compassion, see through illusion, and walk the middle path. 10. The eternal message. So, what did Buddha mean by enlightenment? He meant the end of ignorance, the direct perception of reality without distortion, a state where the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion have gone out, where peace is not something sought, but something seen. Is it achievable? Perhaps the better question is, are we ready to let go enough to realize it? Because enlightenment isn't about adding anything new. It's about removing what hides the truth, the endless noise of thought and desire. As the Buddha said, "Be a light unto yourself. The path begins and ends within." The sound of stillness. The Buddha once held up a flower and said nothing. Only one disciple, Mahakashyapa, smiled. That smile became the foundation of Zen, the silent understanding that truth cannot always be spoken. Maybe enlightenment isn't a destination, but a recognition. Not the end of life, but the beginning of seeing it clearly, moment by moment. And so, the question remains not whether enlightenment is achievable, but whether we can stop seeking long enough to realize we were never separate from it. If you found this exploration insightful, give this video a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to Timeless Questions channel for more deep dives into philosophy, history, and human nature. Because the questions may be ancient, but the wisdom is timeless.